From the studios of the Security Officer Network, your security supervisor is giving you your pick of shifts. You can work days, swing shift, or overnight. Which will you choose? Well, depending on your specific circumstances, of course, and all things being equal, to me, the answer is clear. Stay tuned. This video is brought to you by the Security Officer Network. Get your membership today. Membership is growing at a record pace as more and more security-minded individuals are creating their security officer profiles and portal. This is a great tool for you to document your training and establish a Security Officer Network transcript now for impressing your future employers and clients later on. Stay tuned to the end of this video when I will tell you about a free resource from the Security Officer Network for leveraging your overnight shift into a future as a professional officer. And as I just mentioned, you should pick the overnight shift, of course. Here's why. The pay differential. So this is an obvious benefit. There might be a pay differential for those who work at nights, better pay for the hazard of staying up all night and messing up your sleep schedule. But real honestly, it should probably be the other way around. There should be hazard pay for having to deal with all of the daytime normies who are demanding the security guard's attention. For you see, across the security sector, if you are looking for a job that has so little stress that it feels like it's not even a job, look for the night shifts at the easy assignments such as the corporate office towers, warehouses, and manufacturing or other closed retail. It's not really like working at all. On many of these shifts, you will hardly have any human contact whatsoever, and that, my friend, is a major benefit of working the overnight shift. Even at the intense sites, where you are dealing with the night people, such as patrol routes, hotels, apartments, or entertainment venues, most of the activity, and thus human contact, ends at some point on your shift, and you will still have plenty of stress-free time to yourself. By the way, keeping in mind that some of you will go on to work in corrections, remember this. This same logic works for corrections as well. Get assigned to the night shifts where you can earn a pay differential, and where as a bonus, most of the offenders are locked down and sleeping. This will get you about 8 hours of mostly stress-free work, and it's much less demanding than the day shift, where you are personally minding up to 120 or so offenders. And that's if there is adequate staffing. You may be watching more if there isn't. One more thing on pay. The Security Officer Network is preparing to release a new YouTube video with the latest security officer compensation numbers as reported by the U.S. Department of Labor. Now, these numbers are being reported a month late, so we are late in getting this information out. But this is important for you to have because it allows you to ensure you are working for market rate. And if you are getting your own security agency up and running, then this is really important information because it allows you to know how much your competition is likely to have to pay their officers and is a primary factor in determining how much to bid on client contracts. So be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you can keep up with this and other of the latest security industry information that is must know. The ambiance. If you've never worked the overnight shift, you've missed out on amazing ambience. My personal examples include the old mall, where I was the only person inside of the main mall structure in the middle of the dark night with the sound system playing throughout. I had the keys to pretty much go everywhere. I was endowed with the superpower of being the invisible man. Walls couldn't stop me. or maybe more fitting, the last person on Earth in Life After People. Either way, it's an amazing ambience. Then, there were the many nights of driving the empty streets, at night, in my patrol car, unhindered by other vehicles. Yep, that's actual dash cam footage from my Caprice patrol car that you are looking at right now. It's night, no one is out, and I am the guardian, charged with protecting my client's property while they sleep. It's a big deal, and it builds a lot of confidence. When you do run up on and deter something going down, like perhaps a break-in or theft, it's an amazing, amazing feeling. In fact, speaking of ambience, this specific footage was taken just down the street from the Waffle House. It's one of the few still open restaurants in the middle of the night, and a place that always has its own endearing ambience. After the bars have closed and the streets have become deserted, it's time for a lunch break, where I have an important decision to make. Lunch or breakfast, it's my choice. This photo is courtesy of Robert Barnes, the populist attorney who is doing his very best to single-handedly save the Republic, and who has the working man's appreciation for the ambience of a Waffle House at night. Then, there were the long, quiet nights, spent in the basement office of a bank, where while manning the security desk between the random foot patrol, I successfully figured out how to earn my college degree without going into any student loan debt. Here's a hint: find one of the small handful of accredited schools that doesn't put a limit on the number of credits you can test out of. Then, study for those tests each night on shift. Another favorite memory, the snowy night, and the unfettered opportunity to practice my extreme weather driving skills with the security car in the deserted, snow-filled parking lot. Well, probably needing the new snow to cover up the donut tracks before the day shift arrived on duty the next morning. Then there was the overnight ambience of the towering corporate office tower. As the security officer, I once again had the keys with access to pretty much everything. All of the once bustling office spaces, now eerily quiet. The earlier cacophony of clacking keyboards and ringing phones, now simply replaced with perhaps the occasional hum of a computer left on standby or a refrigerator from one of the break rooms. From the darkened offices located on the top floors and their massive windows, I would look out over the sleeping city. It's an ambience that's quite unique and was captured quite nicely in this scene from the movie Paper Towns. And if I really wanted a good view, of course, I had access to the roof. Then, if possible, provided day shift arrives on time, the new mission commences. Get home by sunup, just as the normies are coming out to kill the ambience. Multitasking. The overnight shift is the shift for getting things done. Things that are not part of your security job. And far from being prohibited, this is sometimes even encouraged by your supervisor. There are a wide range of security assignments where it is acceptable to do things that have nothing to do with your security job. However, even when it is acceptable to read, study, or otherwise do personal things that are not part of the official assignment, it's likely more difficult to do those things on the day shift. That's because perception matters. Consider the case of an officer who mans a security desk in the foyer of an office building. During the day, when employees are badging in and out, and the occasional member of the public or a vendor needs assistance, even if it is perfectly acceptable for him to work on personal projects, the officer risks establishing a bad impression when the visitor or employee notices that he's listening to a podcast, studying from a school textbook, scrolling on his phone, or even doing security research online. But at night, once the office is locked and secured, the officer at that same desk might even be expected to engage in these activities, just to ensure that he stays awake. His supervisor will encourage him to keep his mind active and to bring personal effects to work for this purpose. By all means, do your hourly foot patrols and don't fall asleep. That's all we ask. This opens up a world of possibilities to the ambitious officer who is working his way through school without taking on the destructive student loan debt that everyone should do their best to avoid, and who needs the study time. Or maybe he wants to learn everything about the security industry for a career as a security professional, such as a supervisor or consultant. See the free resource at the end of this video for an example of this. And as a bonus, on the night shift, he's not likely to be interrupted nearly as frequently as on the day shift. The few interruptions that do occur, random or set foot patrols, maintenance checks, logging the janitorial staff in and out, etc., provide a healthy break from his personal activities. Of course, those who are familiar with the industry will know that many officers who find themselves in this set of amazing circumstances, being paid to do their own personal work while on the job, waste this time on their phone or even bring in gaming systems, etc. These unwise officers risk being trapped in low-paying security posts for the rest of their lives. This is a mistake and one that you should avoid. So here's a valid line of pushback against my argument. What about security experience? To become a security professional, shouldn't one work the shifts where there's more actual, real security work to do and there's more opportunity to gain experience? I think this valid concern points to something that I can't emphasize enough. As a security officer, you must have goals. You must always work towards these goals. So if your goal is to become a security professional, perhaps to branch out on your own and start your own agency or consultancy, then you will want to gain hands-on experience dealing with people and using your skills to ensure a secure environment. This doesn't mean you need to leave the night shift. There are plenty of night shifts where you can get a lot of good experience. These are the active shifts, such as the nighttime patrol route, where you are likely to gain considerable experience because you are dealing with the night people. Early in the evening, these are the drunks with whom you will deploy your tactical communication skills to get them in for the night without incident. Later in the night, as the streets clear and the ambiance really sets in, you are keeping your eyes out for those who are seeking the big score. They have strategically waited for this time of night in order to do things that they think will go unnoticed because no one is out, except for you. Work one of these shifts long enough, and you will probably have the opportunity to expose and stop some pretty intense stuff. This is good for your resume, and it really builds your confidence and experience. So if you are in the phase of studying and learning from research, then you will want a safe, low to no activity site. But if you are attempting to get on the ground meaningful experience, you will want to seek out and ask for the more active nighttime assignments such as a mobile patrol. But I guess what I'm really saying is, don't feel that you have to give up all of the benefits of night shift work just to get experience. In fact, when the time is right for you to get some real security experience, you may benefit from the type of experience that occurs on the night shift when the normies are already back home and the night people are out and about. Before we go, here is an important tip for you. Do your best to maintain a consistent sleeping schedule and stick to it. That is what makes all of this work. If you are unable to establish this consistency and can't get regular, consistent sleep according to an established set of hours, then you are unlikely to do well on the night shift. consider staying on days. So you've stayed to the end of the video. As promised, here's that free resource. It's the free 50-page PDF from the Security Officer Network entitled Security Guard to Security Expert. And it features an example of a security officer leveraging his work on the night shift into his own security enterprise. This guide is about 6 years old, so it's due for an update. But much of the information remains relevant, and it will inspire you to get your mind racing with some of the possibilities of the great benefit that is the security post-night shift, getting paid to chill out and build for your future. You can find the link to the guide in the comments section below this video. And as always, if you have yet to get your Security Officer Network ID, then consider joining us at thesecurityofficernetwork.com and start building your professional portfolio today.
Right. Good luck trying to find a shrink in this town.